POV, your life as the child of an OF mom. By Dark Professor. Let's like his video. And if you enjoy the reaction content at any point, if I make you laugh, smile, giggle, haha, hee hee, you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, we're constantly growing every day. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. Your support is greatly appreciated. Let's lock in and let's see what we got.
You're 7 years old, standing in a driveway of a cramped apartment complex, watching a delivery driver haul 3 massive boxes to your door. At first, you think it's early Christmas, but the boxes aren't full of toys. They're full of ring lights, tripods, and enough high-end makeup to paint a skyscraper. You don't know it yet, but these are the tools of the trade. You don't know that your mom just quit her job at the dental office to become a full-time creator. To you, she's just mom, and she suddenly has a lot more time to spend at home. The air in the house starts to change. The usual smell of home-cooked meals is gone, replaced by the sharp chemical sting of hairspray and the dry heat of electronics running for hours. You walk past her closed door and feel a strange warmth radiating through the wood, almost like the room itself has a fever. Sometimes you find a stray sequin on the carpet, looking like a bright fish scale in the hallway light. You pick it up and wonder what kind of conference call needs glitter, but when she finally emerges, her face is hidden under a mask of makeup so thick that it almost looks like porcelain. The apartment doesn't stay small for long. Within 6 months, you're moving into a house with a pool and a kitchen that looks like it belongs in a magazine. Mom tells you she's a social media manager, and because you're a kid, you believe her. It makes sense, considering she's always on her phone. You get used to the do not disturb sign hanging on her bedroom door for hours every afternoon.
So at this point, because I thought this video was going to take an entirely different direction. I was thinking that, you know, we were going to spawn into this game of life with our mom, you know what I'm saying, already being in the business, already doing, like, you know what I'm saying, daily meetings with the man Johnny Sims himself. You know what I'm saying? I genuinely thought that's where we were going to be, but no, supposedly we're, you know what I'm saying, we're already old enough. They didn't specify the age, but we're old enough to know that our mom had a job. She had a career, you know what I'm saying? We weren't the richest, but we weren't poor, you know what I'm saying? My mom was a dental assistant. She was making good money. But then on top of that, all of a sudden this switch happened where, you know what I'm saying, mom is going to her room for long periods of time. She's locking the door. She's doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, it's just like all this equipment is here now. You know what I'm saying? It seems to be like 4 or 5 guys coming into the house at one time or in one day. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on with mom, and we don't know what it is, but all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, we're moving to, you know what I'm saying, the Hollywood Hills. We got a new family, nice car. We got a whole bunch of shit just going on. And ultimately, I just feel like imagine you spawn into the game, you know what I'm saying, born first day, your mom is already in the business. She already has a name. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it wouldn't be as bad that way because, you know what I'm saying, that's just her life. It becomes your life. But knowing that your mom used to be a normal pedestrian at one point, and then she just had this switch flitch in her brain that says, okay, I don't want to be a working woman that way anymore. I want to do OF.
She's on important conference calls, so you learn to play video games with the volume muted. The house is quiet except for the faint muffled sound of her laughing or talking in a voice that sounds slightly higher than her normal one. It's a performance, but you're too young to recognize the script. But then you hit middle school, and the world starts to leak through the cracks. You're sitting at the back of the bus when a kid 3 grades above you shows you a screen. It's a blurred thumbnail on a website you've never seen, but you recognize the kitchen. You recognize the marble island where you eat your cereal every morning. The kid laughs and asks if your house is always that clean, and you feel a cold shiver run down your spine. You don't answer him. You just stare out the window, realizing that for the first time, the conference calls weren't for a marketing firm.
But my whole thing is, how would people know? That would be ultimately one of the most embarrassing things ever, to like not only be the son or a daughter of a OF model or a popular X star, but it's just like for the world to know that you exist. That's just pure humiliation. You know what I'm saying? Like I would think that at least these women and these men too that are doing these, you know what I'm saying, are part of that business or part of that lifestyle. I would think and hope that they're doing everything in their power to just like hide the identity of their children, hide the identity of their family member. Well, it's cooked for your parents. Like it's cooked for them. Like everybody knows, like if you know that person, you know their parents, probably even on a personal level. So yeah, they're cooked. But like if you're planning on having kids, if you're planning on adopting kids, gang, I feel like you have a moral responsibility to hide their identity from the world. And I'm not saying hide like be ashamed of them, but protect them, because Schools are like one of the most ruthless places for children already as is. Let your mom be a porn star. Let your mom do OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially popular, and they know that you exist. Oh, you're not. I don't think you last at a school. Genuinely, from freshman year to senior year, I don't think you're going to last. You're constantly going to be switching schools, hoping that, you know what I'm saying, oh, okay, these niggas don't know my mom here. Nah, they do. They do everywhere. Your mom's known worldwide. I couldn't live like that.
Feels too thin to breathe, while your ears start to ring and the roar of the engine turns into a dull hum. The Marble Island went from a place of innocence where you eat your cereal to a stage that's been broadcast to thousands of people. You think about the messy crumbs you left there this morning and feel a wave of nausea. Every tile in your kitchen now feels like it has a camera lens hidden behind it. You look at your own reflection in the bus window and wonder if you've been a background character in a story you've never actually watched. The realization doesn't happen all at once. Rather, it builds like a slow-motion car crash. You start noticing the way people look at your mom when she drops you off at school. The other moms stand in a tight circle, whispering and turning their heads away when she waves. The dads are different, because they either look at their shoes or they stare a little too long. You see them adjust their glasses or pull their caps down lower. It makes your stomach churn. You start asking to be dropped off a block away from the entrance, claiming you want the exercise. Mom just sighs and agrees, her eyes staying glued to her phone as she checks her latest notifications. By the time you're 14, you've become an expert at digital surveillance. You wait until she's in the shower and you find her secondary Instagram account. It's not the one where she posts pictures of your golden retriever or your birthday cakes. This one has 2 million followers and a link in the bio that leads to a paywall. You click it and your heart feels
like, but why are you doing this to yourself? We never heard the saying, curiosity killed the cat. Why are you being the cat right now? Honestly, it's just like, I could see if you found yourself, you know what I'm saying, at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and you genuinely wanted to know what your mom does. So you find the Instagram, and then you see that there is a link in the bio, and you're like, okay, this is not right. This secondary page that she has seems a little provocative. It seems a little. This is not the mom that I live with. I don't know this lady. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, she has my mom's name. She has my mom's face, but this is not her cadence. This is not her approach. This is not her delivery. She usually has more clothes on. So at that point, it's just like we don't even gotta click the link. We don't gotta do that to ourselves. We don't gotta do like a pre-subscription for fucking lifelong therapy, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to speed run therapy. Ultimately, you have no business clicking that link, because you know it's your mom. So it's like, how much information are you trying to, I'm saying, soak up? How much information are you trying to learn?
Yes, you see the stage names and the costumes. You see the way she interacts with fans who pay $50 just to hear her say their name.
Daddy?
It's a business, and you realize you're a silent partner in a firm you never signed up for. But the money makes it hard to stay angry. You have the latest iPhone before anyone else in your grade. You have a closet full of designer sneakers that your friends drool over. It's a weird trade-off, like you're being paid hush money for a crime you didn't commit. You start to feel like an accomplice. When she asks you to help her move a velvet couch into the studio room, you do it without a word. You help her set up the backdrops. You even learn how to adjust the lighting so there's no shadows on the walls.
So you just became a part of the business. Now I'm saying, this is weird. I'm saying two roads diverged in wood. I took the one less traveled by. I don't think I'm subscribing to joining the family business. I don't think that I'm going to become your IT, your lights and production, your fucking, you know what I'm saying, your, like, what's next? You want me to edit the film too? You know what I'm saying? You want me to start making thumbnails for your OF posts? I'm not doing this, Mom.
For a production that you can never tell your teachers about. One day, the reality of it hits home in a way you can't ignore. You're at a high school football game, sitting in the bleachers with a girl you really like. Her dad is the coach, a guy who talks about character and integrity like they're the only things that matter. He walks over to say hello, but then he sees your mom walking towards the concessions. He freezes, and the look on his face is one of recognition, not of disgust. He knows her, but he knows her from the screen. He looks at you, then back at her, and then the conversation with the girl just dies on the vine. You realize that your social life has a ceiling, and you've just hit it. You feel exposed standing there on the bleachers, as if the stadium lights are searching for you specifically. The look on the coach's face is a heavy weight that settles in your gut, being a silent recognition that strips away your name and replaces it with a dirty secret. You watch the way he quickly looks away, his face turning a shade of red that matches the team's jerseys. The girl you like is still talking, but her voice sounds like it's coming from underwater. daughter. It's clear that her house will never be a place where you're welcome. So you start to retreat into yourself. You stop inviting people over because you're afraid they'll see the work clothes drying in the laundry room. You become a ghost in your own school. Your grades stay up because you have nothing better to do than study, but your soul feels like it's being sanded down. You watch your mom buy a new German SUV, and you wonder how many subscribers it took to pay for the leather seats. You start calculating the cost of your life in terms of clicks and views. It's a depressing math.
And it's like a lot of people don't when they get into this game young, and they start, you know what I'm saying, going the OF route, going the, you know what I'm saying, the hub route, and doing X-rated content. Ultimately, they're just thinking like, okay, you're only young once, you know what I'm saying? You only have this attractive body once. Let me do whatever I want with it. Let me maximize the amount of profits that I can rake in with my body, with my, you know what I'm saying, with myself. But then ultimately, when they get older and they start to realize, maybe I do want marriage, maybe I do want a family, maybe I do want, you know what I'm saying, something more than just all this money and big ass houses and just like things that don't really bring nothing of value to my heart. Like I want the American dream, that white picket fence with the family and the dog. But ultimately, I'm not gonna say that you're disqualifying yourself from that, because I believe there are some men out there they'll genuinely cuff a fire hydrant. You know what I'm saying? If it could fucking suck and not and cook from time to time, they would do it. But at the same time, the man that you want, the man that's of value, the man that has morals, they ultimately would never even look your way, because once they find out that you have a history of, you know what I'm saying, trying to get by through life with using your body. Once they find out that you've done OnlyFans, once they find out that you've done corn on that level, you know what I'm saying, they're not gonna want to take you serious. So ultimately, like, a lot of people, they don't think about their futures. They just think about the moment. They think about the time being. How much money can I make right now today? And they don't think about, okay, the money that I made right now today is literally gonna, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna shun me from having the future that I may potentially want.
Equations. But then comes the fan incident. You're at the grocery store grabbing a gallon of milk when a man in his 50s approaches your mom. The man smells like stale cigarettes and a sour, nervous sweat with a greasy sheen on his skin that makes your stomach turn. When he looks at your mom, his eyes are wide and fixed, like he's staring at a screen instead of a human being. His hands are shaking as he reaches out to touch her arm. He calls her by her stage name, Lexi, and tells her that he's been a top subscriber for 3 years. You feel the icy condensation of the milk jug soaking through your shirt, and it's the only thing that feels real. His voice is a wet, desperate rasp that makes your skin crawl. He says he feels like they have a real connection. You see the terror in your mom's eyes. The moment the digital wall crumbles and the real world rushes in, you step between them, even though you're only 15 and the guy is twice your size. You tell him to get lost, and your voice sounds deeper than you thought it could. The drive home is silent, but it's a heavy silence that fills the car like lead.
What does his dad think about this? Obviously it's you and mom rocking it out, you know what I'm saying? It's just y'all against the world. But it's just like, what does your father think about this? Like, nobody ever thinks like, okay, I used to date that woman once. I dated that woman to the point where we had a child together, and it's just like, did the father just cut off the relationship with the mom and the son? Because it's just like, okay, I know that his mom is doing OnlyFans. I don't want to deal with that. And this nigga, he seems to be helping her out, so I don't want to deal with him either. Is that what is happening? Is that what transpired? Because it's just like, if anybody can save this nigga from the path that he's heading down, from being in his mom's cornstar shadow, it has to be the father. Only the father can reset his reality.
She's also checking her phone to see if anyone caught the interaction on video. She's worried about her brand. You then realize that the persona has swallowed the person. She has become a digital asset that needs to be protected and managed. You feel a wave of pity for her, which is almost worse than the anger. She's trapped in a loop of validation and cash, and she doesn't know how to get out. However, life goes on because it has to. You graduate high school, and she offers to pay for any college you want. No loans required. It's a golden ticket, but it feels like it's covered in grease. You pick a school 3 states away, somewhere no one knows your last name. You want to be a person who isn't the son of that lady.
Brother,
you want a life.
Brother, I hate to break it to you, but I remember at the beginning of the video, you said your mom had 2 million subscribers. So if the people in your town, you know what I'm saying, before your mom was even popping in the OF space, they knew who you were without even knowing who you were, because who the son you were of. It's no matter where you go, they're going to know, oh, you're that nigga whose mom does OF. You know what I'm saying? I hate to break it to you, but you're cooked generationally. The only way to escape this is not on you, but if you were to have a kid, you would have to change your family's last name. You would have to change your lineage. You would literally have to create a new existence and hope that your son does something great to keep that shit go like prolonging, because your last name is fucked. Ultimately, that's just what it is.
A ring light. So you pack your bags, and she gives you a hug that feels more like a PR move than a goodbye. She's filming the whole thing for a heartfelt vlog about her son going to college. One day, you're sitting in your dorm room, and you get a notification. It's a news article about a massive data leak from the site she uses. Thousands of real names and addresses have been posted online. You call her immediately, but her phone goes straight to voicemail. You see the headlines starting to pop up on Twitter. People are making lists. They're finding the moms and teachers and neighbors who have been living double lives. You feel like the floor is dropping out from under you. This isn't a secret anymore. It's a public record. The fallout is fast and brutal. You see the comments on her Instagram, people calling her names that make your blood boil. You see the trolls finding your own social media accounts, posting screenshots of her work in your mentions. You have to delete everything. You have to become a digital nomad, jumping from one alias to another just to have a conversation without being harassed. You realize that the freedom that money bought was just a different kind of prison.
I ain't gonna lie, I think that would be enough for me. That would do it for my social media career, gang. If imagine you just get into an argument with somebody and they just drop a screenshot of your mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just drop a screenshot of your mom on her knees. You know what I'm saying? Pre-shot, if you know what I mean. Like it's a lot of things. Like, if you have a parent in that life, it's a lot of things. Especially, I don't even think a parent, because they, like, if you, a man, like, I don't know, society wouldn't take that as serious. But if your mom is a part of that life, I don't think you could afford to beef with nan nigga on this planet. You could not, you can't, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just not in your cards. You would never win. The easiest way to get to you was just be, I could just show you a screenshot of your mom. You know what I'm saying? Pre-Picasso, I could do that to you, and then it's just like, how, like, what else would you would have to fight me. You would have to take it there. You would have to want to end my life.
Damage of a business model that trades privacy for profit. But do you find a way to survive? You work 3 jobs in college, so you don't have to take her money. You want to know that the food in your stomach was bought with your own sweat. It's hard, and your roommates think you're crazy for living on ramen when your mom's a millionaire. They don't understand the weight of $1 that comes with a content warning. They don't know what it's like to look at a luxury car and see the faces of 1,000 lonely men. And then comes the day you finally go home for a visit. The house is even bigger now, but it feels like a mausoleum. There are cameras in almost every room, even the kitchen. Mom tells you they're for security, but you know they're for behind-the-scenes footage. She looks tired, despite the expensive skincare and the perfect hair. She asks how you're doing, but she doesn't wait for the answer before she's checking a notification. You realize that you're just another character in her story, the successful college son who proves that she's a good mother. So you make a choice. You tell her you're not coming back for the summer. You tell her that you found a job in a different city, a boring job with a spreadsheet at a cubicle. She looks disappointed, but only because she had a family reunion shoot planned for July. You walk out the door, and for the first time in your life, you don't look back. You don't care about the pool or the designer clothes or the high-speed internet. You just want to be invisible. One day, you're walking down a street in a city where no one knows you. You see a woman who looks a little like her, and for a second, your heart stops. But then you realize it's just a stranger. You feel a sense of relief that's so profound that it almost makes you dizzy. You're finally back to being just a normal guy walking down the street, and that is the greatest luxury you've ever known. But the internet, it never forgets. Every few months, you'll be scrolling through a thread and you'll see her face. Someone will repost an old video or a meme, and the familiar feeling of dread will wash over you. You've learned to keep scrolling. You've learned to treat her like a celebrity that you've used to know rather than the woman who raised you. It's a
But I mean, at that point, you just gotta realize, like, if you don't want to deal with that, if you don't want to experience that, if you don't want this coming up every now and then periodically, if you don't want to face that trauma, you just gotta log off permanently. You can't use a social media that's popular in the world. It's impossible. Or unless you use it, you gotta be one of them niggas that, you know what I'm saying, have an anime profile picture and you just, like, you know what I'm saying, have a different alias. You know what I'm saying? On some Kevin Durant type shit. Or if you do want to stick to using your name and your face and you know what I'm saying, having niggas troll you in your comments, you just gotta ultimately realize it's just content. That's all it is at the end of the day. It's just content. It's your boy RushMoreRick. If you enjoyed the reaction video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you would do if your mom did OnlyFans. Let me know. I'm genuinely interested. I'm out of here. Peace.